Hey everybody, this is Cool 3 This. I want to talk about the topic real quickly because I think it shocked me. I was on ESPN and I happened to see Mayweather come out and say that he thought that Canelo Alvarez was that he didn't push as hard as Canelo as Miguel Cotto. And is this dude crazy? I mean, you can clearly see that Canelo is punching harder than Miguel Cotto. I mean, that's just clear. That's just clearly obvious. There's no way in the world that you can say. I mean, you can clearly see it. They both fought Austin Trout. Okay, Cotto didn't. Miguel Cotto, he didn't put Austin Trout on the ground. Canelo did. So how in the world could you think that Canelo doesn't punch harder than Miguel Cotto? That's kind of crazy. I mean, I'm just being honest with you. That's kind of crazy. Um, he also said that Canelo was not as tough as Miguel Cotto. I think he's right about that. I don't think that Canelo's as tough as Miguel Cotto, but I do think that I do think that Canelo is more technical than Miguel Cotto. Um, I mean, when he pressure fights, when he's brawling, he will back up. I saw him literally hit Austin Trout with his left hand, move him over to the right side, and hit him with an uppercut. These are things that Canelo Alvarez has done. So I think he's a little bit more technical, and also, though speed is not going to really be that. I mean, speed is great to have, but it's really going to be timing. That's what it's going to use. He's always had to use timing. He would. I remember in the Austin Trout fight, Canelo, he hit Austin Trout on the chest. That's old school fighting right there. So I don't think this guy is no joke. I don't understand where this is coming from. To me, Floyd, it sounds like he's in a bad place to me. I think he says he's not overestimating the guy, but to me, it sounds like you are. If you really think that Miguel Cotto doesn't, if you really think that Canelo don't punch harder than Miguel Cotto, you gotta be crazy. You just really do. Austin Trout was 171. 171. Canelo punched him on. He would hit him on. I remember one time during the fight, he punched him with the right hand onto his chest, his upper chest, and made Austin Trout step back. He knocked him off balance. So what is he talking about? I mean, I just don't see that. Maybe I'm crazy. You guys can tell me in the comment section. Maybe I'm crazy. I'm gonna try to post a link to the interview with Floyd Mayweather and what's his name, Joe Cortez. Yeah, right. Joe Cortez. They both had an interview, and I'm gonna post that video link. Well, with a link to that video down below in my description box, but so you guys can see that. But you know, he said some crazy things in this interview, and it doesn't have me worried, but it just doesn't. It don't sound good. If you notice something else too, he says like Matthew hadn't took Canelo to that Matthew hadn't took Canelo to distance, and this happened and that happened. Styles make fights, man. See what's going on is there's a whole group of boxing fans. It's like an infestation. It's like a just a gigantic field of people who don't understand boxing at all. You know what I'm saying? Styles make fights. You can't look at one fight and say he went the distance with this guy, so that means that he can compete with the other guy. This guy did this to this guy, so he can't do that to the other guy. You can't do that. Not at a championship. Not at a championship level. You can't, because styles make fights. Just because you got look. Certain guys have certain things to match other guys. So if a fighter may have to go the distance with one guy. That may be his own way to beat him because of that style. So that doesn't mean that, like, I remember Ricky Hatton did a better job with Castillo than Floyd Mayweather did. But that didn't mean that Ricky Hatton could beat Floyd Mayweather. That's because styles make fights. You see what I mean? Like, things happen that way, so you can't go back to certain fights like that and try to, decide how the fight's going to go. You got to look at the fight for what it is right now. Going back, looking at the Robert Guerrero fight for Floyd Mayweather, that's a terrible mistake. Do not go back and look at tune-up fights to try to judge who's going to win fights. That is a bad move. Do not do that. Robert Guerrero is not that good. He's overrated, overhyped, and he's not that good. Andre Berto is not that good. Andre Berto, he should not be at 147. He's not good at 147. He's overweight. Those guys are too big for him, and he's done at 147. He needs to go back down. I think he'll be more successful. He's lacking skills. Robert Guerrero, he was more of a natural 147 pounder than Andre Berto. Beating him is not that big of a deal. Aiden was hitting Robert Guerrero the whole time. So Robert Guerrero is not that good. Trust me, I never been big on Robert Guerrero. He's overrated. This dude didn't even know how to change up his rhythm in the ring. Notice, he didn't do anything he said that he could. He didn't do anything he said that he could do. He said that he could change up and that he could adapt. He didn't do anything. Floyd Mayweather, he was ducking up under his punches. He didn't do anything to change up anything. He just kept letting Floyd Mayweather do the same moves to him over and over again. He didn't do anything different. And then look at his rhythm, right? You see how Floyd kept, like, go back and look at the fight, right? During the fight, Floyd Mayweather kept touching his glove. That's because Robert Guerrero, he doesn't know how to change up his rhythm. He kept the same rhythm the whole time. Floyd knows that. He's a novice fighter for Floyd Mayweather. He does not know how to change up his rhythm. He can't really box. Like, I didn't see him move from side to side. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, Victor Ortiz is a better boxer than Robert Guerrero. Robert Guerrero, he didn't even know how to step to the side. He didn't know how to move. He didn't do anything but try to box and try to counter, and that was stupid. And he didn't adjust to anything. So Robert Guerrero, he's not that good. Don't go back to that tune-up fight and try to judge that and try to use that as the reason why Floyd is going to beat Canelo. That's a bad idea. That's a tune-up fight. Canelo took a real fight in his last fight. You get that? Man, I hope that makes sense to people, man, because that's just ridiculous. What else, man? That's just ridiculous. I'm going to put, like I said before, the videos in the link below. This is cool 3 this. I was going to make a video about, I was going to make a bit about all this stuff, all the separate videos, but I had to get this out, man. This interview surprised me. I think Floyd needs to, I don't know, he seems behind to me, man. You shouldn't be saying stuff like that. You should already know that Canelo's a harder puncher than Miguel Cotto. You should already know that. That should be obvious to you. And you should not be saying the stuff he's saying right now. So, I mean, that's the problem right there, man. Yeah, and don't score tune-up fights like that. You guys need to understand that this is a different caliber of fighter. So, yeah, man, it's cool 3 this. I'm out here. Peace.